Wrapping it up on Sports Bet, Betting Insight today. Time for the deep dive. Movers and shakers in the association. Great time of the year right now, Teddy. Long run between here and the All-Star break. 4 full weeks coming up.
Yeah, I mean, there's only the All-Star break is basically Wednesday the 15th of February. There's a couple games on Tuesday the 16th of February, which gives us a full month, 4 full weeks of hardcore action, where most teams playing 3, 4, even 5 times a week. There's a significant run between now and the break, and the markets tend to lag behind the morphers at this time of the year. The goal of this segment, this deep dive today, talk about teams that are morphing, going from bad to good or good to bad.
On the way up, you know where we're starting. Trust the process, baby. The Sixers on a nice run here. It's been so good, Embiid's talking playoffs.
Look, the Phillies 6-2 straight up in their last 8 games. That's their best stretch, and I don't even know how long. I think probably 5 years for the Sixers. Now, I do have one concern about Philadelphia. Ben Simmons is back in practice. He's been doing warm-up drills with them. They're talking about Simmons moving over to man the point in the not-too-distant future. I've read some reports he's not going to be on the floor till after the All-Star break. Other reports seem to indicate he may be getting his first floor time prior to the break. I'm not saying that Ben Simmons on the floor for Philadelphia is going to make them worse in the long term. In the short term, it probably will. And that's my biggest concern about the Sixers right now. But this is a team that has lost every close game forever. They're finding ways to pull some of these games out in the latter stages. They're responding well to adversity on the road, and the Philadelphia 76ers have been my single biggest power rating riser over the course of the last couple of weeks.
Back to the Wizards. Can they find a bench? Will they make some moves here? And Scotty Brooks doing a nice job the last few weeks.
He sure has. I mean, the starting 5 can play with anyone. We talked about John Wall earlier in the show. We talked about Otto Porter earlier in the show. Bradley Beal on a nice roll. Marcin Gortat all of a sudden loves everyone. If they found a bench, Scott Brooks really might have something for Washington. But, Porter, a guy who was, the number 3 overall pick a couple years ago? He's taking his sweet time about developing, but he's looking real good in recent weeks. And with him playing at a high level, Washington becomes a pretty good team.
Yeah, one more on the going up. The Mavs, they're getting healthy. Remember, they started 2-13 straight up and 4-11 ATS.
Yeah, I mean, the numbers are actually worse than that, but the very worst of it was that 2-13 straight up start, 4-11 ATS. Since that time, they still have a losing record. I think they're 12-14 in their last 26 ball games, but 16-10 against the number. They've won 3 in a row, and again, they're healthy. This is a team that wasn't healthy at all. Now all of a sudden, Harrison Barnes had all that playing time as their number 1 guy. Now he fits in nicely with Dirk, and again, the backcourt with Williams, Matthews, Barea, Harris, 4 veterans. All of a sudden, this team's only 3 games out of the 8th seed in the West. Worth watching. Dallas has money-making potential.
On the way down, the Thunder. This scheduling thing isn't going to go away anytime soon, Teddy. It's going to last a few more weeks.
Yeah, sure. I mean, Oklahoma City with the ridiculous number of court changes. Well, I think it was 23 in a row. We went through and counted them for a show earlier in the week. When you have a team that doesn't get any homestands, doesn't play in the same place for 23 consecutive games, I mean, the inevitable wear and tear. We saw it against the Clips. We're going to talk about it in Play of the Day in a few moments. The raw numbers may not account for the brutal scheduling for Oklahoma City as much as they should. And they could end up undervalued if they still have any legs left by March and April because they're supposed to stink for the next couple of weeks. A bet against squad due to all the fatigue factor.
And the Hornets, a rough road trip. 0-5 straight up, 1-7 straight up their last 8. Now a homestand begins. It's the Warriors, the Raptors, and the surging Wizards.
Well, yeah, that's just it. I mean, they got Portland tonight. Then after that, it is a tough stretch. And Charlotte, a team that was moneymaker early in the season. I had a lot of hopes for the Hornets as a team that was going to put some money in my pocket. That hasn't been the case in recent weeks. They're really struggling on both ends of the court. Part of it, of course, Nick Batum not being at 100%, although he is back on the floor for Charlotte now after missing a couple of games last week.
And how about the Clippers? Again, CP3 out 6 to 8 weeks. And now it means a lot of Austin Rivers and Crawford jumpers, which you saw what happened a couple of weeks ago. Disaster.
Yeah, all right, don't forget J.J. Redick. He'll be launching them up too. Look at this chart from ESPN Stats and Info talking about how good Chris Paul has been. All right. On the floor versus off the floor. Look at just that second number right there. Plus 15.9 with him on the floor, minus 4.9 with him off the floor. Their assist numbers way higher. Their field goal percentage way higher. Their offensive efficiency drops by 11 points per 100 possessions without Chris Paul on the floor. It's an impact injury. The LA Clippers, who have suffered more than their fair share of Blake Griffin injuries in recent years, now will be playing without their other superstar, and this is not good news for Doc Rivers and company. Though it'll be interesting to see how the markets respond to this. There's a chance, after all this, the Clips might be an undervalued commodity, but I don't think so.
Do your research before you bet. Check out our ratings guide to see which books have the best ratings and sign-up bonuses. Open up several accounts. Shop for lines at sbrodds.com. Always be ahead of the game.